Hello my darlings, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Miranda and I'm the Enchantress of Avalon. So this is the third video of October. I normally do only upload bi-weekly, but for the month of October, as it's the happiest month of the year and the spookiest, I've decided to upload videos every single week. And I do want to start with some brief announcements before we jump into the topic at hand, which is 5 fiction book recommendations for the spookiest time of the year. So, updates. I do want to remind everyone that I have my shop always linked down below, which is White Rose of Avalon, and I sell herbal teas, and I also provide tarot reading services. And I actually just added another tarot service to my website this past weekend, and that is a channeled reading with Melusine. And my channeled readings with the Fairy Queen is the product page, and you would just inform me via email. When I get the product order, I will of course email you, and you'll inform me which Fairy Queen you would like me to channel for the reading. So now you have 5 options for that, including my beloved Melusine. And other than that, of course, all of my herbal teas are always available. Now, with that all said and done, let's get on to 5 fiction books that you could read for spooky season. The first one I am recommending is a quite obvious choice, and it is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. Shirley Jackson is an icon of spooky literature. She is one of the great horror writers of the last century. And yes, The Haunting of Hill House is probably her most popular. I actually kind of prefer this one though. Love The Haunting of Hill House, do not get me wrong, but this one is just so intriguing. And it is about a girl and her sister living in this spooky old house. And things are not as they seem. The second book I want to recommend to everyone is Dracula, My Love by Siri James. And this is The Secret Journals of Mina Harker. So this is obviously a fan fiction style retelling of Dracula, but from Mina's perspective. And I love that whole idea. I love a good retelling, and Dracula is in the public domain. We could all write about him now. And this one does take that awesome perspective. And yes, it does have the love story elements between Mina and Dracula, which I am a sucker for myself. So, amazing read. The next, technically a cheat, another Dracula retelling. Actually, it's 2 books because it's in 2 parts, but it's all one story. And it is Being Mrs. Dracula and Being Dracula's Widow, both by Faith Marlowe. And these I read years ago now, and they're really intriguing. I know that there have been a lot of other Dracula's Brides retelling over the years. This is a very interesting take, that he collected his wives one by one, and it also focuses a lot on the dynamics between the brides themselves, which I like a lot. So the tagline on this is, behind every good man is a good woman. Dracula had 3. Then this one is, I lost everything I loved, everything that mattered in my life, is the tagline. And very, very interesting. I actually did like the first part better. This goes over the traditional backstory, starting when Dracula became a vampire on through the actual story of Dracula. This one is about when the book gets published. And it's presented as a fiction book, but it's actually obviously nonfiction, and her dealing with the fact that that book has been published. which is really interesting, and it gives me Major Anne Rice vibes with, you know, all of the vampires publishing their life stories and people thinking they're just a story. They're not. So I thought that was really fun take for the second part of that. Then my next recommendation is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, and it's by Shay Earnshaw. And obviously this is a sequel to The Nightmare Before Christmas, which I love The Nightmare Before Christmas. And it was so fun to get to read the continuation from Sally's perspective, because this is all in Sally's point of view. And in this book, we get to learn so much about her backstory. Stuff that you've always maybe wondered about gets answered in this one. And it is just so fun. It's an adorable read. It's really not very long, so you probably get through it pretty quickly. And it is a YA book, so it isn't written super complexly, and actually even the text is quite large. I think I read this in like a day and a half. You know, it's a quick and fun, spooky little read, perfect for this time of year. And then finally is actually a book I'm still currently reading, as I decided this was going to be my own spooky read this year. And that is Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brom. And I had wanted to pick this up since it was published a few years ago. I just hadn't gotten around to it. And this year, I was just convinced I had to buy this book and read it. So I bought it with some of my birthday money and saved it for October. And I'm really enjoying it so far. It is very, very spooky witch vibes. And it is a truly horror-centric book. This isn't, you know, lighthearted in any way. The other books I've recommended have at least some lightheartedness. This one is very much darker horror-centric themes. And it's got a lot of classic 17th century witch vibes, as this is set in a small New England town which is called, I believe Sutton is the name of the town. I'm trying to see. I think it's called, well, I'll read the little blurb on the back. It actually doesn't say on the back, but it says, set in colonial New England, Slewfoot is a tale of magic and mystery, of triumph and terror, from acclaimed author and artist Brom. An ancient spirit awakens in a dark wood. The wild folk call him father, slayer, protector. The colonists call him Slewfoot, demon, devil. To Abatha, a recently widowed outcast, alone and vulnerable in her pious village, he's the only one she can turn to for help. Together they ignite a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in its wake. So, yeah. It's really, really atmospheric. And I know a lot of people that I've seen talk about this book have compared it to Robert Eggers' The Witch from 2015, the movie. And it definitely has a lot of those vibes to it, very heavily. Only Abatha is, again, a little bit older than Thomasin in The Witch. She's already been married and she's been widowed, and she's in a very precarious situation because of that. And yeah, it's beautifully written, and there are illustrations throughout the book that are gorgeous and help you envision the descriptions. The descriptions are amazing as well. And it's one of my favorite book covers of all time. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I probably will review that on my blog on whiteroseofavalon.life when I finished the book. But I did still want to recommend it in this video because it's just so atmospheric, autumnal, season of the witch energy. Now, I do hope that you have enjoyed this short video with some recommendations. If you have, please do like, comment, subscribe, and check out my online shop. It's always linked down in the description box below, as is my Patreon if you'd like to delve further into the fairy mysteries of Avalon with me. You can go ahead and head over to my Patreon and support me there. And of course, if you want to just get some more vibes and join a community, there is my Discord as well, which is completely free to join. I hope you have a very wonderful spooky week, everyone. Bye now.